Hello, my name is Russell Jones. I'm a recent graduate of the front-end web development track with Code Louisville. For my project, I decided to do a front-end redesign of a web application I developed several years ago that was written in ASP and VB.NET. The original web design had multiple form pop-ups as well as a lot of page refreshes. I wanted to take that same concept, consolidate and streamline the front-end design while adding in some requested enhancements. Let's take a look at what I did. This is my project opened in Google Chrome. This project is meant to run on a company intranet, and ideally when it is open, you would be logged in under your employee credentials. Here at the top, you can see a small welcome area. This would show if you have any overdue tasks and activities. I am simulating an auto login as myself, Russell Jones. The engineers were required to input their tasks and activities to measure resource loading. You can see a sample listing of my task here. These are just a few tasks that I made up. One is a treehouse training, and the other is a typical annual training. Clicking on a task will display the task details as well as the activities associated with those tasks here at the bottom. As you can see, my project resizes for responsive design. It resizes all the way down to mobile. And the navigation bar has a bootstrap style design. However, I did not use any frameworks in my project. I wanted to grapple with CSS and HTML to get a better understanding of what I could do. There is a drop-down style menu, just like Bootstrap. And when you resize the page back, the navigation links reappear. The other pages are merely placeholders for functionality that was outside the scope of this project. The resources page would show a calendar view of tasks and activities. The reporting page would consist of a series of crystal reports that showed look-aheads, milestones, and schedule adherences. And the About page just shows some basic information about this Code Louisville demo project. The data grids are custom grids. No plugins or frameworks were used. This is pure HTML. And also, notice that there are tooltips associated with the image buttons. The paging buttons work. Let's go down here. Next page. Last page. Previous page. You can go to the first page. You can go to a specific page. And you can also change your rows per page. That's 10. The data is being pulled in from a MySQL database using PHP. I'll show you that in a bit when we take a look at the code. We have a few toolbars at the top left here. One is to navigate to your home page. I'm already on my home page since I'm the currently logged in user. And the other button is to do an employee lookup to see other engineers' tasks and activities. I did not add this functionality in this demo. You have the option to add a task and activity, like such. You can edit a task or activity. And of course, you can delete a task or activity. I did not add the functionalities in this demo because I wanted to focus on the front-end design. The last button is for attachments. This functionality is also not available for this demo. Ideally, the attachments would be uploaded to the server. By the way, this was an enhancement that the engineers requested after the initial deployment. The last thing is the comment section. This is for when you want to add relevant information for engineers or yourself. That's about it for the design. Let's take a look at the code. This is my code in Visual Studio 2013. I've used different versions of Visual Studio for over 10 years now. It's a good development environment. It integrates very well with Git, and it has good third-party extensions. I have one for PHP, and I have one called Web Essentials that works very well. In the Solution Explorer, you can see the code files. Here's the code for the main page. We have the meta tags, the links here. The script tags have been placed at the bottom. That was done to improve optimization. And normally, the jQuery CDN would be used to improve optimization, but because the web app is contained behind a corporate firewall, I use the minified version instead. This is the responsive navbar, the main content, the left container, the right container. As you saw earlier, both are responsive. This is the task details. And down here you have the area for the comments. The three other HTML files are just basic files, as we saw earlier. Just placeholders. Not much to them. In the CSS folder, we have the normalization CSS file to improve cross-browser compatibility, and there's the main CSS file. As we can see, the CSS for the panels and containers, the left and right, the main wrapper. We have the CSS for the Bootstrap style navigation bar, even though I didn't use any frameworks. We have the greeting and information area, which shows who's currently logged in. You have the toolbars, CSS for the custom data tables. The navigation bar for the custom data tables, those were the paging functions. The CSS for the forms, where you added a task or activity, edited or deleted. The tooltips, the custom tooltips. The lightbox functionality. And then finally down here at the bottom you have the media queries. We have a size for smartphones, portrait, smartphones, landscape, tablet portrait, desktops, and larger screens. This is my app.js file. I coded everything in jQuery for cross-browser functionality. This is the initial login area. As I said, I mimic a login as myself. We have the functionality for the event delegates. This was for the dynamically created HTML. This is when you click on the HTML grid. We have the task and activity page navigation. It's a lot of them. We have the navigation bar menu, its functionality, the functionality for when it resizes. We have the code for the toolbars, the tooltip functionality here. And this is where we populate the task and activities. This is where I call a PHP file that dynamically creates the HTML. Let's take a look at those PHP files. This is what populates the task grid. Here we have the post values and error checking. This is where I connect with the SQL database. I use the MySQLi functionality. Here I pass in parameters to a stored procedure. I dynamically create the data grids. I'm actually calling in 3 record sets. I'm calling in the full name, first and last name, out of a employee table. I'm calling in the number of records for the task, and then I'm getting all of those tasks and putting them into the HTML table. And then finally, I'm generating it on the page. The activities PHP file is basically the same thing here. Connecting to a stored procedure, passing in the parameters, dynamically creating the HTML table, and then echoing it to the page. Let's take a quick look at the MySQL database. Yep, there we go. All right. Here we have the task database that I created. We have 4 tables here: activities, task, employees, and status. We can pull up some of the activities here, do a quick query. Have the same thing, let's see, the employees, we can do the same thing here. These are employees. These are not actual employees. I actually got these names out of the Sql database here. And down here, I have the 2 stored procedures that I wrote. Okay. So again, here's my project. We have a lot of custom features here. I didn't use any frameworks. It resizes. Again, for responsive design, and that's basically it. Thank you for viewing my project. My next steps are to add in some of the remaining backend functionality. With that said, I would like to learn a little bit more about PHP and some other backend programming languages. Again, my name is Russell Jones. I'm a recent graduate of the front-end web development track here at Louisville. Thank you.